Indian Will Smith, Akaash Singh, a cash machine. These are just some of the many embarrassing labels floating around Akaash Singh's name at the moment. The comedian and co-host of the Flagrant podcast just went from routinely roasting other people's relationships in front of packed crowds.
Look at this cute ass couple. And when I say I'm talking about the girl specifically, not you so much, motherfucker. I'm more astonished at how you did this. It's fucking crazy, right? Who the fuck thought that was happening?
To becoming the laughingstock of the internet after the secrets of his marriage were unintentionally exposed by his own wife.
I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through.
To make matters even worse, in addition to the humiliation he's already facing due to his wife's comments, there's a good chance this controversy might also sink his career. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be diving into the intense humiliation ritual Akaash Singh is currently going through, how he rose to success as a comedian that relies on roasting his own audience, why that very audience is laughing at him rather than with him right now, and how despite everything, he's still choosing to stay in denial about the entire situation. But you know what I'm not in denial of? How much I want you to subscribe, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's dive straight into the video. Akaash Singh had a very different life lined up for him. Growing up in an Indian household in Dallas, Texas, he was pretty much destined for the stereotypical path. Doctor, stable job, make the family proud. He even planned to follow his uncle's footsteps and went pre-med at Austin College, at least until the day he ditched class during his freshman year to hit an open mic in Denton, Texas. A random, impulsive choice that ended up becoming the light bulb moment for his entire life.
But like, he hits me up and he goes, hey, there's an open mic, get 5 minutes of material together. So I did, and in hindsight, it was horrible. And he's like, yo, there's an open mic near my school. Get 5 minutes of material together, you're gonna do it. So I went, like 7 of my friends from college went to watch me, and then that went well. So the jokes are just like about race. And yeah, I remembered, you know, you have a script when you first start, you just memorize it.
Yeah.
And I remembered at one point they were laughing so hard I couldn't say the next line that I had rehearsed, and I'm freaking out, like, guys, you're laughing so hard I can't say what I want to say. And then in my head, I'm like, oh fuck. Like, further back in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're laughing so hard I can't even say what I want to say.
Still, out of respect for his parents, he stuck with school and graduated in 2006, while keeping himself from his real passion. But once he'd given them the degree, he gave himself the permission to chase the dream. So in 2008, he packed up and moved to New York, hoping the big city life would spark his comedy career. However, early on, the only thing he could land was a gig as a comedic barker at the Village Lantern, which basically involved standing outside comedy clubs and shouting at random people to interest them in the show inside. According to Akaash, this was the only way he could get time for his own material. In his own words, when you're done barking, you get a special spot at the end of the show. It's so hard to get time. This was a good way to do it. And so he spent the next few years grinding, trying to hit 5 open mics a night, and on good days, even 10. Then finally, in 2015, 7 years after moving his life to New York, Akaash got his first real break. It all started a year earlier, when he began uploading videos of his stand-up routine to his YouTube channel in 2014. While the first 2 didn't gain any views, his third video, titled Akaash Singh Destroys Heckler Stand-Up Comedy, took off out of nowhere, reaching over 3.7 million views to date. That sudden attention put him on the radar of Nick Cannon, who invited him onto his popular improv battle rap game show Wild 'N Out. And once he got there, he immediately stood out, with viral moments showing off just how quick he was on his feet.
Akaash, come here, man. Listen here, Osama, all right? You know what? Sure enough, you only came on Wild 'N Out because you heard you was gonna blow up.
Hit me with the race jokes. I ain't bothered. At the end of the day, at least I know my father.
His time on Wild 'N Out gave him some name recognition. but more importantly, it cracked the door open for TV work. Over the next 3 years, he showed up in a handful of different shows, the most notable of which were his Blink and You'll Miss It cameo as a dry cleaner in the HBO series The Leftovers, his consistent appearances on comedy shows like MTV's Guy Code vs. Girl Code, his Netflix debut on the TV show Brown Nation. These cameos, although small, helped him pull in larger crowds for his stand-up and make a name for himself in the comedy space. However, his crowning achievement, the one that brought him into the mainstream, was his partnership with Andrew Schultz. They ended up coming together to create the Flagrant podcast in September 2017, which was originally created to be about sports, but it slowly transitioned into a pop culture and commentary podcast by 2022, by which point Akaash had already cemented his name as one of the bigger comedians on YouTube. However, while most would see this success as one of their biggest wins, Akaash says something in his personal life means even more to him: his relationship with his wife, Jaseline. According to Akaash, she was the one for him as soon as he met her, and a major reason for that was one huge thing they had in common.
My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this: do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what? But she was 22, I was 31. There was an age gap.
Sure. Did you lie, or did you come right out and say like, oh, me too? Or was it, what did that conversation go like?
I don't remember how it came. I think she said it.
Blacked out?
She said it, and then I was like...
When she said, I'm a virgin, you went, your heart exploded?
Yeah,
Well, we got happy. He's nothing compared to.
Exactly, dude. I was
a stallion compared to anybody else.
That's great. So happy.
Yeah, that for
so
sure.
Relieved.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it felt right. It was like, oh, God brought me this person that like, we already connected, and like, she also isn't having sex.
Since then, he's talked countless times about how out of his league she is, and how lucky he feels that she chose him.
My wife is objectively gorgeous. Me? No. So that's what you gotta do. I gotta work my ass off, and then every time she starts looking at me and she starts assessing my beauty, I just throw it back at that bitch.
Basically, he's put her on a pedestal and has often expressed how much he loves her during his live shows.
So it don't matter how long we've been together. I'm dying with this. I married my wife 2 years ago. I almost forgot. I was just doing the math in my head. Because I'm dying with this. And I'm Hindu, so probably I'm gonna die in the next life with this bitch too.
He eventually proposed to her in July of 2021, and the two have been enjoying their happily ever after ever since. Or at least, that's what everyone thought before his wife decided to publicly humiliate him in November of this year. However, to fully understand the controversy, we first need to talk about the Red Pill YouTuber that kickstarted everything, Myron Gaines. And more specifically, his history with Akaash Singh. Myron, along with his co-host Walter Weeks, run the Fresh and Fit podcast, a show that regularly dips into, let's call it, questionable commentary about women.
You know, Dave Chappelle famously said chivalry's dead and women killed it. And the thing is that women have to earn chivalry nowadays versus just expecting it, because women are not equal to men, and chivalry in itself practices inequality. So
in January 2022, some of Myron's comments started circulating online, specifically his explanation about why he doesn't date black women.
Yeah. The reason why I don't date them a lot of the times isn't necessarily because of the way that they look, it's because a lot of the behaviors that's championed in that community. Now with that said, I've dated plenty of black girls before that were feminine and submissive and weren't a headache, but I've dated I've dealt with a lot that were headaches, and I've come to realize in that culture, unfortunately, it's championed to be strong and independent and not respect male authority in the black community, because a lot of them are fatherless, and since they're fatherless, they don't have that masculine authority to let them know, hey, you need to follow a man's lead.
So on January 10th, 2022, both Akaash and Andrew took their chance, inviting both of them to Flagrant and calling them out for their content. They called it corny, immature, and inappropriate for Fresh and Fit's young male audience.
That's fine. A lot of stuff you guys say in general, I think, is stuff that's kind of childish. Okay. It is. I saw a clip where you were like, oh, the nuclear family's falling apart. What do you do? I don't get married. Just don't get married. You're actually trying to help men, or are you talking to fucking incels who are 18 years old? You know what I mean? That's some shit you say to college. I'm gonna turn you from a simp to a pimp. All right, bro. Can we grow up? You guys are self-help. We're trying to help men. So either we're funny, Or help men and be real and be honest with yourselves and don't have an ego like, no, I have a preference. Be honest. Have an honest conversation.
But what really caught people's attention was when Akaash pressed Myron directly about his reasons for not dating black women.
What I don't like, what I find corny as fuck, is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period. It's just, those are your roots. Those women are reflected in your roots. So if you're saying, hey, I don't generally date them, but I have more space for it, even though I still think it's a little corny between... The way I look at it is, you watch them you see them evolutionary charts from Neanderthal to Homo sapien.
Yeah.
Y'all are the first motherfucker out of Neanderthal.
This roast resulted in severe backlash against Fresh and Fit, and Myron in particular, with the internet perfectly summing up the whole exchange with one comment. I don't date black women. So you deny your own race? No, of course, I date black women. So you misspoke? No. That moment sparked an ongoing feud between the two shows, one that's resurfaced every now and then from 2022 to 2025. On November 7th of this year, Myron escalated things to a whole new personal level. It started with a tweet from Myron reading, "I'm never wrong about these women. Akaash Singh tried to lecture me about women years ago. Here's this blank stupid wife making a mockery of him and herself on a podcast." This was followed by a link to one of Jaseline's podcast episodes. Which, unfortunately for Akaash, Myron wasn't wrong.
Wait, can I also ask, what kind of porn do you watch when you use a vibrator?
Okay, not gonna lie, I don't watch porn while using a vibrator. What? I just think my imagination is vibration enough.
Wow, I actually have a lot of respect because I don't think I would be able to do that.
Sometimes think of like my own husband while I'm like doing it.
Wait, that's kind of baller, but I could never do that.
Especially when Jaseline started talking about how she and her husband split their finances.
How do you and your husband split finances? And I'm gonna be really fucking honest.
I don't.
We don't.
First of all, that's a fucking red flag. I'm not no joke. I love you girls. If you want to work, all for that, whatever. But any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a fucking red flag. And I will say it again because I know there's going to be already incel troll fuckers. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money and my money is my money.
This came off as both immature and selfish, with people calling her out for it in the comments, stating things like, "I didn't know his wife was this immature. There's a way of doing things when it comes to finances, sharing, etc. But these women are the absolute brain rot to society. If Akaash would finally fall down, she'd leave. Red flags all over." Meanwhile, Myron continued doubling down by posting a video to his YouTube channel where he reacted to a compilation of Jaseline's most controversial comments. This also ended up highlighting Jaseline's biggest red flag, one that Akaash is still being roasted for.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's ugh.
Once this clip went viral across the internet, the backlash was immense. Some went after Jaseline for the vulgar comments she made about her sex life, saying, "Who the F brags about being passed around like a joint at a frat party?" And "She is willing to drop confessions that Batman couldn't beat out of me." While others aimed their criticism at Akaash for getting tricked into thinking his wife was an angel, with comments like, "My man picked up the first stripper that would actually talk to him. She said, 'I'm a virgin,' and he gave her half his money. And this is what happens when you fall for beauty over character." But unfortunately, that was nowhere near the end of Akaash's humiliation ritual, because another video of her also ended up uncovering Jaseline's feelings for her sister's husband.
Yeah, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is so fucking good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's dick is at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy if
or it's thick.
But what made this even worse was how she went on to shamelessly double down in her comments, with both Akaash and her brother-in-law in the room.
There's a difference being a scammer and being a hustler. Two very different things.
Okay.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who
I'm not
hustles.
gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
This sparked a massive wave of unwanted comparisons for Akaash, including some viewers calling him the Indian Will Smith. For Myron, on the other hand, this was the best news he could ask for. His video on the couple blew up, amassing over 600,000 views, which was way above the average views he gets on his channel. Eventually, the whole thing reached Jaseline, who decided to address the situation on TikTok in the most condescending way possible.
That's what I feel like you guys are doing, whether it's Andrew Tate or fucking Red Pill podcast guys. Like, when they tell you something, when they ask you to jump, you say how high. You're still not a man either way. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you're still a little bitch, beta boy doing whatever the fucking men tell you. Why are you mad at us? Why are you mad if me and my husband are cool with each other, if we both make jokes at each other's expense? The difference is my husband will go on stage and say whatever the fuck he wants about me. No one has anything to say. It's like, oh my god, it's so funny, it's so relatable. But then I come on TikTok and I make jokes, and now you have a fucking problem? Because I don't have a mic in my hand? Like, make it make sense. I'm not here for the misogyny.
She also claimed that this controversy didn't bother her, since it was sending new traffic to her podcast.
One thing that I will say, being canceled by this, like, people doesn't affect me as much because I genuinely don't respect them. I'm just like, okay, like, talk about me all you want, drive traffic to my page. Our YouTube video, our podcast episode that me and Nahal did got 37,000 views, which for us is really high because we're just starting out. So I'm like, okay, keep driving traffic. I'm not even going to read any of the comments.
But this only increased the hate against her, because even though she framed everything as friendly banter between her and Akaash, she failed to defend or even acknowledge how she may have lied about her virginity. Meanwhile, Akaash tried to clap back at Myron himself on Twitter, writing, "My man out here getting triggered by jokes. How ironic. Well, don't worry about me, Myron. I got no issue putting a B back in her place," ending it by reposting the old 2022 clip of him roasting Myron for his comments on black women. However, to the people on the internet, this response felt like nothing more than deflection. To them, he was avoiding the real issue, his wife's comments, while desperately trying to redirect the drama towards Myron. "You're gonna have to turn off the comments after this, you dweeb. Your stupid wife on podcasts talking about his money is our money and my money is my money. Buddy, you're a victim." And it was only downhill from there, because it didn't take long for people to uncover even more clips of his wife making weird comments that only made Akaash look worse, starting with another episode of the main character podcast, where Jaseline casually dropped even more wild stories from her past.
Wait, okay, I have two butthole stories. So one time I met this guy on Tinder and I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to fucking hook up. And I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore.
Oh my god!
At this point, the majority of the internet was convinced that it was Jaseline that had lied to him about being a virgin, and that she didn't genuinely view him as her husband, but rather as a cash machine, which was only amplified when people dug up clip after clip of her dodging his kisses, on vacation,
I'm sorry, I just need 1 minute to make sure I look good. Do you think I look good, Mr. Armstrong?
during his proposal, and even after he renewed their wedding vows and bought her a brand new ring.
Oh,
it's me.
my
Sing, will you be Jaseline Singh forever again?
Yes! Oh my god! Oh god!
Take that drinky thing off. That drink eating.
Did you guys notice? Yes! Oh my god! How big is this?
Big enough for you to shut up every time I tell you.
Thank you so much! What do you say? This is so good!
It looks so beautiful.
People also found the way Jaseline tries to ignore him to focus on her new ring as a sign of her lacking any real affection for him, something that also seems evident from even more clips from her TikTok and podcast that have resurfaced since. Like when she explained why they have such a happy marriage.
Do you know why I think I have like a good marriage, knock on wood? Not my pantry being open. I think it's because my husband's never here.
or when she explained what she has to go through on his birthday.
Okay, May the 4th is Akaash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day, and I have to get him something, and I have to also be nice and do like acts of kindness.
Or how she couldn't even bring herself to say that she loves him on their wedding day.
That's what's
Jaseline did respond to the criticism once again, this time to offer an explanation for why she avoids kissing Akaash in public, claiming that it was because of her fear of PDA.
Then I'll also respond to the people saying I don't like my husband because I turned away from a kiss. I've never liked PDA, physical touch. I find it really overstimulating. And so it's something I actually work through with my husband because that's his love language. And I feel like for him, he tries to do physical touch to regulate his emotions, and I find it really dysregulating. So it's something we kind of work through in high stress situations because I get overstimulated when a lot of things are happening.
And to her credit, she has talked about this before on her podcast, describing public affection as overstimulating, something that heightens her anxiety.
The second thing he'll do is that he'll kiss me in situations that are already overstimulating, like in an elevator full of people when we're in a rush trying to leave. And so he'll kiss me on the forehead, which is sweet, but he'll do it, Neho, I'm not even joking, like 5 times. like these pecks, which again, it's like, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but like after like the 3rd time, I'm like, stop! Don't fucking touch me!
But while this could have been a legit explanation for her awkwardness, most people just didn't buy it, especially given the explicit stories she's shared about her past, stories that notably never included her own husband. It also didn't help that in the following days, the internet somehow managed to continue uncovering even more clips of her blatantly disrespecting her partner, including one where she shares some very hypocritical takes on prenups.
Is it just me, or is the idea of asking a girl to sign a prenup incredibly offensive? And only one way. Like if I asked someone to sign a prenup because I had some like booming business, then I would be like, yeah, can you just sign this prenup because like I don't want to like lose all my money. But then like if a guy asked me to sign a prenup, I would be like, I would call off the wedding. Like, I would literally call off the wedding.
All of this, unsurprisingly, resulted in Jaseline receiving a lot of hate from around the internet, with some people labeling her as a gold digger who's only with Akaash for his money.
I think the misconception about me is that maybe I'm a gold digger or that I came from privilege, which are both partly true.
Some have even gone as far as to accuse her of being a serial cheater who's not attracted to Akaash at all. But even if that's not true, she's still continuing to disrespect her husband in front of the entire internet, while Akaash seems powerless to stop her. That said, what is equally important here is to consider the impact these comments have on Akaash himself and his comedy career. He has made a living from crowd work during his live shows, which usually involves him pointing out couples in the crowd and roasting their relationship dynamics.
This cute ass couple. And when I say I'm talking about the girl specifically, not you so much, I'm more astonished at how you did this. That is crazy, right? Who the fuck that was happening? You got a great job, huh? So she put her head in his lap as soon as I said it. She was like, yeah, I probably owe him some head. He makes a lot of money.
But now that his marriage has been publicly dissected and ridiculed, that signature style of comedy might no longer be an option for him. However, what's even more concerning is that it appears Akaash is taking everything quite hard. Multiple people who attended his most recent show described it as awkward, saying he essentially used the entire set as a therapy session, where he talked about how great of a person his wife is, while reassuring everyone that they're absolutely fine. There's also a clip circulating online from that same event, where Akaash starts off by addressing the situation directly, claiming his wife supported him long before he made it.
These narratives, people calling your wife a gold digger and a whore and all these other things, it's a shitty thing. So I'm going to tell one story that I have never even told her, honestly. She has no idea this story. My wife and I met in 2014. I was not making much money. I was getting $25 a night doing stand-up. I was on MTV shows at big dog shit money. If she was a gold digger, I didn't even have 10 to get the bitch, to be honest.
He also went on to mention a time in 2018 when he went completely broke, but she still stuck by him.
But then in 2018, I went flat 34 years old, I probably made $4,000 that entire year, and we couldn't even afford the living room we lived in New York City. We had to stay in our apartment illegally. We were supposed to have been out by like 12 p.m. We moved everything out. We didn't have a place to stay, so we had to stay there that night. It was just me and her sleeping on a hardwood floor. I'm 34 years old. She's 25 years old. I'm looking at this girl like, man, you could go be with an Indian who's a doctor, like a real Indian.
He then ended the story by highlighting how she's never complained once.
And I have nothing to give her. It's just a light jacket. It's like October. We have nothing. So I hand her the jacket, and then she said, "What's this for?" I said, "You can use that as a pillow." And then she goes, "Well, what are you going to use?" And I said, "I'll figure it out." She handed me back the jacket. She goes, "You take this." And then she laid with her head on my chest and her arm around me the entire night. And I remember thinking in that moment, this is why I haven't shared this with her, because I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to marry this girl because I'm so broken. I'm in such a bad place and it's a dark time in my life. But I know I will never find a girl that loves me this much ever again.
But as expected, many on the internet didn't believe him, with people leaving comments like, "No way she did this, he's trying to save face," and "He never told her because it never happened." Now, you'd think that this would be the end of it, but not long after this show, another one of Jaseline's old TikToks resurfaced online, where she basically exposed Akaash's entire story again.
And he was able to like reach a 6-figure salary, which at the time was really huge for us. But then in 2018, like all of the opportunities started to dry up. He was kind of aging out of the MTV bracket and he wasn't really getting any attention from the industry. So he was pretty much losing all his income. And at the same time, I was working a really toxic job with like a toxic manager and like working till 2 a.m. And it just caused a lot of stress on our relationship. I really, wanted to get married and like wanted to move forward. And he was like, I don't even know who I am as a man if I'm not even able to achieve something I poured 15 years into. And like, I don't even know how I'm going to provide for you or our future as a family. And everything came to a head when my mother-in-law came to visit us. And I was being very distant because of everything we were going through. Akaash was very stressed. And I think she kind of internalized it like that I was towards her, passive aggressive towards her. It was a huge fight between all of us. Basically, Akaash did not defend me, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I can be in a relationship with this person anymore.
At this point, it's safe to say that he's either in denial or lying to save face. However, what was even more concerning for Akaash was the roast waiting for him when he returned to Flagrant, especially after Andrew and his other co-hosts' very telling reaction to learning about the controversy.
Akaash is in India or Dubai.
A planned trip.
A planned trip that was planned before this madness. Okay? He's there. And obviously we want to talk about what's going on, but we don't feel right talking about without him here. Mm-hmm. So once he's back, we're going to have that conversation. I'm sure that will be spirited.
It seemed like Andrew can't wait for Akaash to be back so he can roast him in person for his wife's comments. But beyond the jokes, the big question viewers had was what would happen to Akaash's role on the show when he returns. Because he and Andrew are known for relentlessly mocking other people's relationships.
Do you think that your girl has slept with 3 times the amount of guys she's told you?
Why the fuck did you just ask me that?
I need to make it real.
I didn't say body count. I said I want to hear about a couple of the previous.
Why you want to hear? Why?
I just want to see.
What are you gonna get out of that?
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure she got good taste.
Yeah, that's some fuck shit.
Just make sure she got good taste. Imagine all the dudes previous were just some lame ass dudes, and I'm like, am I one of those?
Yeah. And that lane might not be open for Akaash anymore, not after being humiliated so publicly. Some fans were also worried that this could damage the chemistry between the two, and potentially hurt the long-term future of the podcast. And it seems Andrew knew this quite well, because the new Flagrant episode finally released with Jaseline as the guest, and both Akaash and Andrew are in damage control mode, where they are trying to clear Jaseline's name with semantics.
I thought it was just like dancing, getting dressed up, and maybe that was my mistake.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge that.
Look at this.
Big one.
Yeah, the act of getting dressed up, looking fly as hell, wearing a minimum of 3-inch heels, preferably higher, and dancing your ass off into the wee hours of the morning. That was what I was doing.
But here's the thing. The damage is already done, and no amount of definition hunting on Urban Dictionary is going to change the internet's mind. As the top comment under this episode puts it, 5 minutes in, and I'm insulted they think we're that stupid. The only feasible way that Akaash could turn this situation around is if he embraces his new label of being a simp, which admittedly is quite possible since he's never shied away from self-depreciating jokes in the past. However, as bad as Akaash's situation is, he's still not lost as much as James Corden. Click the video on screen to find out how.